Hey, what is up, everyone? It's Monday evening. We're going to be talking some Andor tonight. I'm so excited. Oh, God, to talk about, frankly, my favorite show with you guys. We're going to talk about the last couple episodes, give our thoughts for the finale. We got a little bit of news to catch up on. And really, it's just going to be four best friends recapping a week where a lot of us are exhausted. But I'm very excited to be with y'all. But I'm most excited for this next transition that's going to come up. It's going to be visual. It's going to be great. And it's going to happen when I tell Wes, my friend, to do the action of punching it. And welcome to the Living Force Utini Network podcast tonight, all about Andor and how phenomenal it is, and a guy lost his job. I'm one of your hosts, Eric Eilerson, and joining me this week, as they are every week, is the full cast of characters, including the one, the only, the very well lit this week, Dr. Corey Helton.
Well lit. Hello.
Well
I'm
lit.
a little bit litty. Not that kind of litty. I wish I was that kind of litty. That'd be better.
Hey, we got time. We got time.
As Charles likes to say. How's everybody doing tonight? I hope everyone is well. I'm just sitting here in my unemployed pants, patiently.
I wasn't going to call you out.
Show them. Show me
show
what
them.
your pants look like. Yes.
The plaid pants.
With
Christmas,
the drawstrings and everything.
Drawstrings. I know. Dude, listen, Caitlin and I got matching pajamas a couple Christmases ago to get those cozy vibes going. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
And my favorite pajama pants. I don't wear them all the time, but I'm ashamed to still don't have a job. So here we are.
Well, I'm so glad for you, Corey. I have been working from home for 2 years, wearing sweatpants every day. I will be better. So Dr. Charles Hankel doesn't make fun of me.
Up?
Hey, buddy. How you doing?
What's up, guys? I'm okay. I'm sleepy. I'm really sleepy today. I'm going to need some Eric Eilerson energy tonight, I think.
You'll take all of it and leave me as a husk, I'm sure.
Yes, you will be husked. You will be husked. I think it's because we put up, you remember last week I told you I already got Christmas decorations up. We did the outdoor decorations. First one on the block. I'm pretty stoked about that. And
nice.
So I was up on ladders, almost died once or seven times.
Oh, those new guys are putting their lights up already. Damn it, Sharon.
Seriously, because this is your first Christmas in the house. That is a show of dominance, man. You have now established you are that guy.
We had someone yell from across the street, "Hey, first one on the block," and I was like, "That's kind of who I am."
Charles, you should have just looked at him and been like, "I'm him. I'm him. I'm him." And just really like intimidate them. That would have been great. Well, I'm happy for you. I can't wait to see how merrily your lights shine throughout the holiday season. But of course, there's no way they can shine as bright as the aura of the glorious soul belonging inside Wes Jenkins. Hey, man!
Hey, what's going on, everyone? I went a little overboard on my backdrop this week. So I just want to let you see. if you can look behind me, I have a fake tree, and that is it.
Brown tree behind you, my guy.
Oh man, it almost looks like you can see it. Can you see these little splotches, like right there, there, and there?
I think so, maybe
like a little bit.
Oh,
so
God.
I was just covering up. I was into a spot check on the wall because I had ripped off some shelves, and the paint came along with it. So I was just gonna, touch up some spots on there, and I used the Home Depot app. Home Depot, your app doesn't work. So I used it to color correct and see what the color was. And I was like, all right, wet cement. That is the color I'm going to get. And then I was like, before I go, let me just double check. And I doubled and I tripled and I quadrupled and I went all the way to nano-dectonal or what it was. And I had 19 different colors. Not one of them matched every time I did it. So I was like, I'm just going to go with one. And that one I went with didn't work. you can see it.
Easy. No, you just got to repaint the whole room.
Now I have to repaint the whole room, exactly. Or I'm just going to put pictures all over the wall and you can't even tell.
Well, I think it looks great. I think you look great. And most of all, I think our audience looks great. I can't see you, but I know. I just feel that about you guys. Welcome. I hope you're having a great week, whether you're watching us, whether you're listening to us, however you're taking in the show. We hope you're doing well. We do want to start tonight's show on somewhat of a more somber note. We do want to send some love to all of our friends and our staff members, actually, that are in Colorado Springs. There was recently a very, very horrible shooting that was over there over this past week, and we hope that anyone over there or people that are affected by it and all the communities affected are feeling some love and feeling some, I guess, hope as much as you can. There's really no great thing to say at a time like this other than we love you. We hope you're okay. We did have a really close staff member that lived very close. That was very shaken, and we love you, man. Hope everyone's okay. But at the end of the day, yeah, just hold the ones you love a little tighter. I know this week for a lot of us in the U.S. is Thanksgiving. At the time where you do get to see some family, maybe some friendsgivings, whatever you're doing. Take a couple more seconds, make those hugs a little longer, because you never know what can happen in this world. So we love you guys. We hope everyone's doing okay. On a higher note, to swing up a little bit, we do have a lovely event this week before Thanksgiving. And no, it is not just football games. It is also a new book release, because tomorrow, November 22nd, as of this recording, we do get the first adult novel in Phase 2 of the High Republic, Zoraida Cordova's Convergence. As a reminder, this does take place a couple hundred years before Phase 1. We did a little bit of a primer on it previously, but this is, like I said, the first adult novel within the initiative. It's really freaking fantastic. And tomorrow, as we always do on Utini, we're going to have a written review on the website, utini.com. It'll be the banner image. We'll have a video review on this very website. I really liked it quite a lot. I'm very excited to hear all your thoughts on our community. Head over to our Discord and our Convergence channel and use the spoiler tags to follow along with reading. It's one of my favorite things we do on our site and in our community. So, High Republic Book Day. Never bad. Never bad. Speaking of things that are never bad, but always good, fellas, we started doing this last week, and I loved it so much. Let's do it again. I just want to know how your week's going and what you are loving. Is it Star Wars? Is it not? Wes, you already talked about your backdrop, but you also had another thing on your mind, according to our outline. What's going on with your week, buddy?
I did.
I miss you. I miss you.
Thanks, Eric. I missed you too. I am so as the producer of the Living Force podcast, I have come across quite a bit of tech over the years, and I've become what you call a techie. But now that I am looking to upgrade my computer, I am looking for a NVIDIA 4090 Founders Edition card sold at Best Buy. Anybody listening, do you have the secret load like stash somewhere that would offer me one, so I don't have to wait for months and months and months until it comes out, and then when it comes out, something better comes a month after that. So
well, why don't you just look on Amazon? Just get it on Amazon.
It's $1,000 more. They sell their yes. I mean, I'll pay for it, but I'm not going to pay over MSRP. So that's the caveat. But
Wes, why would they sell it for $1,000 more? That's almost like a mean thing.
I'm talking about a graphics card for a computer, by the way. It's like not the end of the world if I don't actually find one. There's a lot of other things going on that's horrid that I could obviously put my time and money into, but I want this thing. I want this thing that makes my game run fast. Okay, that's what I want to talk about.
You're a hunter. You hunt graphics cards. You hunt innocent animals in the wilds of South Dakota. Like whatever you're doing, you're always going towards something.
That's the thing, right? I'm out in the woods. I'm roughing it. I'm eating berries, and I'm eating cheese sandwiches for days on end as I'm hunting, and then I come back and I'm just covered in hundreds of dollars of tech. And they're just like, these things don't match. These things don't match.
As Walt Whitman once said, "You contain multitudes," and I love you for it. Speaking of what you were about to.
Sorry, I was going to say that Wes and I have been talking about the 4090 for like 2 months now. DM, and like it's just impossible to find. You can't get one. I mean, they're ridiculous. And if you do get one, it might burn your house down. So
I have a website up constantly on my phone, and to the right of my screen here, it's called Now in Stock 4090. And it tells you every time a card comes in stock, and then it tells you immediately that it is out of stock because somebody
PlayStation
buys it immediately. Yeah.
All right, so everyone, that is at Boss Wes on Twitter, or is CEO at utini.com. Email Corey and let us know.
I did see
Wes's address.
I did see a picture on Reddit of a whole shelf full of 4080s that had been there for like 48 hours at a micro center in Texas.
Probably mine. because I saw it. I went through the list. There was like 24 4080s, like 18 4080s, like 19 4080s, and nobody wants it. Nobody wants it. Everybody wants the big boy.
10. Right? That's
Listen,
how that works.
I also understand this to some degree because I just rebuilt a computer because I got into this whole sim racing thing, and I also kind of want F4090 as well, and I got the bucks for it at the moment. So I'm just like, I kind of want one, and it would make genuinely run. You don't need it for Call of Duty, which is what Wes wants it for, but you.
I want 300 FPS. I want 300 FPS in my game.
Your monitor does not even go to 300 FPS.
Well, I want 240 then. I want 240.
Yeah, running triples, you can get it on with the 4090, which I'd kind of like to do. Which, yeah. Well, speaking of sim racing, I went to I didn't think I told you guys this. I went to a sim racing event last week in the middle of the week. There's this cool place in Asheville called it's called The Track, and I don't really know how you would describe it. It's like
not a sponsor.
Yeah, it's not like a bar. It's more like a place that you can just like rent time on sim racing rigs. And it's this huge like old warehouse, and they've like converted it into this really cool place. They have like 20 or so pretty fancy sim rigs with like they're nicer than mine, and they have like vibration.
You're describing an arcade. It's an arcade.
It is, but it's only for race cars, basically. Yeah, and then like
so it's an elitist arcade.
It's safe for go karting. That's what.
That's right. Yeah,
go
exactly.
Go karting meets an arcade. Okay, great. We're with you.
Yeah, I've described it. The arcade analogy is actually pretty good because I've described sim racing as like, you go to the arcade and you play the race car games, right? You know how it like kind of vibrates in your hand and stuff, and like it kind of turns and it takes some force and stuff. That's what sim racing is, except that's like 1 or 2 newton meters of force, and like my sim rig is like 15, so it's pretty dramatic in the power that's in the. Yeah, I mean, like when you crash, you have to let go of the wheel because like it'll spin and people break their hands sometimes on them. Not mine, not at 15, but like, if you get a really high end one. Yeah. So
why?
Explain to me Newton meters.
Why would you accept all of the risk already of a car crash when you're in a not real car?
I mean, all the risk, Charles. I mean, all of it.
I don't know. How many newtons are out there? I don't know.
Yeah, I also put an airbag in my chair, so when I crash, it like throws me through the window. To simulate a windshield. You know what I mean?
Good.
Yeah. Yeah,
you really need to get back to work, man. I'm getting...
Anyway, this place in Asheville is really cool, and I joined it. It's like a membership thing, and they do these like races a couple nights a week, and it was super, super fun. We drove like an F3 car around like one of the American tracks. I can't remember which one it was. Man, I had a blast doing that, and I was really nervous because I'm so new and bad at this and stuff, and like people are really freaking good at video games, as you can imagine. And the race car thing is like a whole nother level. And like, they mopped the floor with me. I came like everything is measured in seconds, on a racetrack and stuff. And the lead was like at like 2 minutes, and I was in last place around this track, and I was off from the best time by like 15 seconds, which is pretty dramatic. And I'm just like, I don't know how they're finding that much time in this lap. But everyone was really cool, and they were like, this is after we did the race. Okay, watch the replays on like a big screen. Everybody talks about the strategy and like, this is how you take that corner at the right speed. And it was so educational, just how racing works in general. And I had a blast. It was super cool. I've like accidentally stumbled on this really positive community. Like I thought that it was going to be really, I thought it has a risk of being toxic, I think a little bit, because it's like it's that kind of competitive video game thing. But everybody was like, oh no, man, you were fine in the back, and this is how you take that corner better. And it was just so much fun. I had a blast doing that. So that was my highlight of the week. And right after that, I joined a league, a rookie league. And so through December, there's like one race a week, and it's all very competitive.
Do you get shirts?
Do you have a teammate?
I don't know if I get a shirt. That would be really cool. And no, I don't have a teammate, but they do enduro events that are like 6-hour races where like 2 or 3 people are on a team. You have to like trade after an hour. That's a long time to be sitting in a car with that much force.
You gotta get a teammate so that you can make sure that at the end when he says, let me lap you so that I can win, you say, no, screw you.
That's right.
Verstappen, and you just take the win.
Look at that. Eric in here hot with the Formula One memes. Look at that.
Get it. I get. Although I will say, yeah, you experienced a feeling that I know very well. You shared with me, which is the loss of sporting season. So yeah, I cut you off, but this was a very specific feeling that I was so proud.
Yeah, man. The last race of the Formula One season was this past weekend in Abu Dhabi, and it was a really great race. It was an excellent end of the season, and afterwards, I felt dead inside, truly. And I'm like, is this? I messaged all the guys, and I was like, is this how people feel when sports seasons are over? Because this freaking sucks, dude. I hate myself right now. So I finally am starting to understand a bit of the psychology around like how insane sports are. I get it now. Finally, after all these years, I feel what it's like to be a fan of sports. So,
Yeah, it's why we watch SportsCenter and they're like, all right, there's a rumor that the 7th round pick might be in. I'm like, tell me, I need something. Speaking of, Charles, you're master of your block. You've asserted your dominance with your Christmas lights. Everyone is stepping out of your way. How else was your week, man? What you been up to? I know you've been busy, but what's bringing you joy?
I've been selling off my lot of NVIDIA 4090 graphics cards slowly but surely.
300% markup, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's a lot of Christmas lights, Corey. It is a lot of Christmas lights.
No. How many strands of Christmas lights did you put on your house, Charles?
Inside or outside?
Outside. Inside or outside? You have to clarify.
It would take me a while. I'll give you guys a guided tour one day soon.
I'm thinking Christmas vacation style or bust, right?
Yes, there are planes that on cloudy nights are using my house to triangulate the Charlotte airport. That's what I'll say.
Perfect.
Other than that, just the usual stuff. Except I will say I did pick up the new Pokemon Violet. I got Violet. It's Violet and Scarlet. They came out. Apparently,
you're a Pokemon guy?
I'm a Pokemon guy, man. Oh, every game since Red, bro. I had the original Red.
Bro.
What?
And apparently, this is the most pre-ordered Pokemon video game of all time, and I'm shocked.
And it looks like that. Anyway, no,
there are definitely some issues with it, but it's still been pretty fun. They're trying.
Who's your starter? Did you do Grass Cat, Water Duck, or Fire Dinosaur?
Fire Dinosaur, because his name is Fuecoco, and I love that name. And
the memes have been amazing because he's just like.
Yeah, he looks so derpy. He reminds me of Coda, to be honest with you.
Oh my God, he does. I've met Coda. I get that reference.
Right? And
he does.
And he's a fire alligator. And now when I really like something, I'm like, oh, that's fire. Now I'm like, oh, that's Fuecoco if it's really fire.
What would 100% sounds like some kind of mixed drink. Yeah, I'd like Fuecoco on the rocks.
Fuecoco. Well, good. Yeah, you got to keep us posted on your badge progress. I want to know when you get your legendaries and all that stuff. Yeah, I've known you for years, and I never thought you were a Pokemon guy. Did you like play under the covers with like the attached light on the Game Boy Color when you were a kid?
Of course I did.
Yeah.
I had a yellow Game Boy Color. Yeah.
What the hell is a Game Boy Color?
I had the lime green one.
Game Boy Color. Wes is out here playing with stone and chisel.
I have. I still think cup and ball. Atari. Cup and ball, Corey.
Cup and ball.
Wes was playing marbles on the block while we were playing our Game Boy Color.
Yeah. Wes is so old. His starter was Gravity. Anyway, I do want to know in the chat though. Let us know who's your Pokemon starter. I'm actually very fascinated by this because my last one was yellow. I started and ended very quickly. But I was a Squirtle guy myself. I think Bubble was so OP in the first cave, it's not even close. All right, Charles shakes his head, audio listeners, at my face. Who is your OG starter?
A Charmander. For sure, it was Charmander. I most times go fire starter because I feel like it takes the longest to find fire Pokemon in the wild.
That's fair. So also, fire starter is actually a word as opposed to like water starter and grass
I'm an
starter,
arsonist, really.
Actual thing.
Yeah, it's that simple. Well, I'm happy for you, man. I'm very excited that you've had that start to your week. It's a great way to decompress, I know. Speaking of decompressing, I've been doing none of that myself, fellas. I've had a horrifically stressful week. For those that may not know, I am getting ready to move within the next month, which is very exciting. I will be giving my address to a lucky patron. That's not true. But I am though having to pack up our whole apartment. Those that are on video may see that behind me things have changed a bit. I've wrapped every single Funko that I have individually. It's over 300 in a single day. That was a lot. But we're just in the packing mode, and those of you that pack know it's the seventh circle of hell. And it is. I got to the point where I was almost hallucinating with how tired I was from packing. So that's going to be my next couple of weeks. So I've been doing that. But on the bright side, two great things happened today. One, I watched the World Cup game. U.S. We drew Wales, which is the most boring, dumb thing in the world. Draws are dumb. That shouldn't exist in sports.
There should FIFA
stupid.
For that matter, but
yeah, the awfulness of FIFA, the corruption of Qatar, everything aside, go USA. I hope we win. So that was fun. But most importantly, guys, I finally bought my tickets to opening night of Avatar: The Way of Water. They went on sale.
Oh, nice.
The movie I've been waiting for now, I checked, 13 years since the first one.
Holy smokes. Is that real?
13 years, 2009.
Holy smokes.
So 13 so
years?
Excited.
Oh my God, that is way further back than I thought it was. Holy
Look
crap.
how old you've become. Like, that is where we are. But I bought the tickets. It's literally going to be the day that we close on our home, and I'm going to go by myself while Charlie stays in an empty apartment with the animals.
This is actually a good little crossover with Utini, actually, in a lot of ways, because I recently experienced like a bit of the positivity surrounding the Avatar movies, because I was certainly in the camp of like, this movie sucks and it's just a repeat of Dances with Wolves and Pocahontas and all that camp, right, when it came out, which a lot of people are still there. And I mean, in all the like YouTube videos, all the comments are like, "Oh, I'm never going to see this. It's such a ripoff." Blah blah blah. I rewatched Avatar in Hawaii when I was on my vacation with my wife, and I loved it. The movie was so good. It held up really, really well, and the graphics are still phenomenal for being as old as it is. And I'm like really positive about this next experience. I'm gonna watch it, and like if you're in that camp of like, this movie sucks, give it the Utini treatment and watch it again and see if you still say that, because you probably don't actually.
I love that.
And the other thing I was gonna say, Eric, is I've really enjoyed your updates to us about like kind of how you and Charlie are sort of trying to experience your Chicago bucket list a little bit. It's been really cool. I was telling Caitlin about that earlier. Of like, I kind of wish I would have done that in some of the cities that I've lived in, of like, all our favorite restaurants, let's visit them one more time and things like that. Because you get caught up in the move and you're just gone after that. So
it's been wild, because like, we've lived here together for like almost 4 years now, like 3-4 years. And because of COVID, obviously, we didn't get to go to a lot of places that we usually like to. So we knew about places, but didn't really do a lot. And we're more homebodies, which is, great. But then we were like, oh, okay, we have a date now. We will leave this city that we know. I got to say, a lot of things can be said about Chicago. A lot of them are true. Some of the best food in the country. Amazing stuff. And we're like, oh my God, we're going to lose these places. And we're going to lose some friends and things like that. So in the midst of all the packing, we have been like, okay, we actually made lists. We wrote out lists, which you appreciate, Corey, of like, okay, we got to hit these places. And then we had a calendar. And we're like, okay, what dates are we going to what restaurants? And like, we just had to fit them in. And like, what friends are we seeing on what days? Because you're so right. When you're in a move, it is so easy to get so single focused on like, I just have to pack. I just have to get there. And you do. And that's awful. But at the same time, it's like, I don't want to go south and be like, oh man, right, we never got to go to blank and have those things I love so much. And so if you're
money aside, because that's a good reason not to do that, shouldn't we just do that all the time where we live? Like, you know what? I'm going to try to see my friend today. And like next week, we're going to go to a nice dinner at our favorite restaurant. Like, it shouldn't take a move, but I'm glad that you're doing that, Aaron.
Well, it's because I'm moving towards you, man.
I know.
I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying.
Your calendar just says Charles. Also Charles.
I'm like, hey, Charles, what are you doing?
It's one of those.
I'm at your house. What's up?
It's one of those multi-day like spanning events, just like one giant block that just keeps continuing for weeks and weeks. So just like when you look at his calendar, he doesn't say anything. There's just this little blue line at the top of every single week. I'm like, what is that? I was like, oh, that's Charles.
He's always
it's gonna be absolutely like a Wednesday night. I'm just gonna show up in front of Charles's house with 240s, being like, "We're going to the Knights game." Like,
I know. Listen, that's gonna put me, you, and Charles all within like 2 hours of each other, and then Wes is, somewhere else. So
and Peggy, that's what Wes is.
I'm in the better place. You guys,
yes, Texas. The better.
you guys need to come down.
We'll get there. But yeah, so gosh, crazy weeks for us. I'm so glad. It's been so much fun. I love that we added this part of it. And I hope, honestly, all you listeners and viewers, we're going to keep doing this because, frankly, I miss these guys. And I hope you love hearing about this.
Tell us if you like it in the comments. And if you don't, too bad. It's our show. All right, moving on.
Well, I want to see your hate comments. It feeds me.
Right. Make it interesting with an interesting emoji that resembles that you don't like it. So just like
exactly. We got to
water
know.
or fire or,
my go-to is the eggplant, personally.
Eggplant's a good one. You guys know those hate comments feed me. You know what doesn't feed me, though, thankfully? Fantasy points, because I lost again. Wes, you, however, are winning.
Yes, I am.
Are you going to be in the playoffs? Are the Utini playoffs? They're coming.
I would think so. I mean, I'm pretty good. Sorry, JG. I think I ran you into the ground this week.
Dang! Wow!
Yeah,
you're
Eric,
fourth right now.
I was checking your placement on the leaderboard there, and you're way down there, dude. You're like, I can barely see you.
The weird thing about Wes, the weird thing is, I love football so much. I watch every game every week, and I'm losing all the time. Like, I am so bad in our fantasy league. Every year I'm very bad. There's another Star Wars Twitter league I'm in with some lovely people like Kelly Knox and Veers Watch. I am 1-9, soon to be 2-9. I think I might just ruin the playoffs for somebody else.
That's the only
I only exist to make people mad.
Yeah.
I'm just a chaos agent just to mess up your playoffs because I won't be there. And then I have 2 leagues. I'm in 4 fantasy leagues. I have 2 more where I'm first place. So there's nothing that makes sense. But Wes, once we get to the playoffs, I'll be rooting for you. You know why? Because the other people aren't on the show except for Charlie, who, if she goes against you, I will hope you get just smashed into the ground. On that note, everyone, thank you for supporting us here at Utini and all our crazy pursuits that we do. We want to thank our lovely patrons, including a couple new patrons that we got, including Eric Werzer and Tim Costello, both monthly patrons that joined this week. We hope you're enjoying some greatness over at Utini's Patreon, including the Wookiee Week episode of the Star Wars Archives that got released. Trevor, our resident Welshman who drew us today, I gotta tell you, if you are not friends with someone from a foreign country who you are playing in the World Cup, I highly recommend it. It was a blast to be in our company Slack during the game. Shout out to Trev, who was a wonderful sport. And also got to watch the game at night because that's how Wales works. As the rest of us were at work, but chatting it up. And he and Jose had a great time chatting about Wookiees. So head over to our Patreon and check out all the great stuff we got going on over there. And thank you again to those that have joined so recently. All right, we got a couple news drops, but they belong in their own place. Wes, let's go to the Star Wars Weekly Roundup.
It's the Star Wars Weekly Roundup.
Fellas, I got a question for you. Have you ever been fired from a job and did that firing cause literally everyone in the entire company to celebrate? Has that ever happened to you?
No. Yes, actually twice.
Wow. Odd that it happened twice. Well, then you may be related to Bob Chapek. That's right, folks. If you don't know that name, Bob Chapek was until recently the CEO of Disney. Our overlords, our shill lords that absolutely pay us thousands of dollars each week to say good things about the company. Thank you again. Those checks are in the mail. Bob Chapek has been CEO for about 3 years. And during his tenure, some certain things have been not great. Prices have gone high up for merchandise, especially Disney parks. There's been a lot of people very dissatisfied with the way he's run things. Some inside cast members and executives have not been super happy. Investors have left. Animation has suffered. All kinds of things. Last night, as of recording, at 9:30, there was a Deadline article that said, yo, Bob Iger's back, who was the CEO since 2005. So he acquired, Star Wars and Marvel. Galaxy's Edge got built. Bob Iger was in charge of a lot of that stuff and oversaw a lot of that stuff. And y'all, 2 things. 1, apparently Bob Chapek found out about half an hour before that article got posted that he was losing his job.
Holy smokes.
2, he has a non-disparagement clause. So we will not hear about his side for a long time.
Wow.
And 3, I have never seen such a unanimously positive response from employees in my life. If you're on Twitter with any Disney people, it's like the end of Return of the Jedi. It's literally like fireworks going on all the time. Have you guys seen any of this? I was blown away by like how positive this was.
Yeah, I've seen some like some TikToks and like really crazy stuff of people really celebrating. And I admittedly did not know much about this, but you should if you don't know anything about Bob Chapstick, you should look up. I literally Googled earlier bad things that Chapek did, and
well, so did the board apparently.
I know it's ridiculous. He blew up at Bob Iger when Bob Iger decided that he wasn't going to retire because COVID happened and changed the world, and he made the very you could say Bob Iger made an incredibly controversial decision to not just abandon the company that he had been CEO of for like 15 years or some shit in the worst period in human history. I can't imagine why you would want to do that. So Bob Chapek apparently threw a total hissy fit at a board meeting, and it was really bad. And he also was a big proponent of how they handled the Don't Say Gay bill when we were. We talked about it on the show, I think.
Yeah,
actually,
Chapek was like, "Don't say anything. We can't go against."
He sent a personal email to the whole company that was like, "Keep your mouth shut." Basically, it was really awful. I mean, it was pretty mean that he did. And some of the most egregious stuff that's in this list is that he didn't apparently know how to deal with any of the bad financial problems that Disney was facing during COVID. So he just raised the park prices at Disney World like 5 times during a 2-year period or something like that.
Like Genie Plus and all that stuff. A lot of people, for park goers, you know what I'm talking about. There's like ways to get on the rides, and like Corey, you remember the whole Genie Plus system when we went and did that and like. Yeah, he's responsible for a lot of those higher prices just going skyrocketing, and instead of, like you said, making smart decisions. And even the internal employees who aren't always affected by that really seemed to feel like he wasn't on their side and was more of a corporation than, caring about the people, which, I mean, it's a business, but I don't know. It seems like Iger actually just is a nicer person to the staff. There's a lot of kind of sketchy stuff that Chapek did too. That's in his article about like a lot of nepotism type of stuff and like kind of maybe choosing money over people and stuff. And he does seem like a sleazy dude. He looks like a villain, like straight up. Like you look at the guy, he actually does.
He does. He looks like the big scary bald businessman like villain, like a Lex Luthor or Kingpin. That's what he looks like.
Like an evil chapstick. Like an evil, stupid chapstick.
I mean, genuinely, I don't have a lot of skin in the game, obviously, with this. I don't own any Disney stock. I don't really care. But I did read part of Bob Iger's book, and it was very good. He seemed like he was a very interesting leader with a lot of really cool experience. I don't really know anything about him other than what I've read in his book. So, if he's actually a piece of shit, then, roast me in the comments. Look at this guy. Tell me this is not a villain, dude. He looks like a Disney villain.
He looks like Obadiah Stane from Iron Man 1.
Yes, that's who I'm thinking of. Yes, he looks like Obadiah.
Exactly who he looks like.
Yeah.
No. Stoked to have Iger back. You know what I think? Jacob said this in our chat, which is also great in our Slack chat. We had a lot of confusion because we're like, so old Bob is replaced new Bob, but old Bob is the newest Bob because new Bob is now old Bob. And you have to it's really hard because it's kind of like a Grover Cleveland situation where he was president, then he was gone, now he's president again.
Yeah.
But Jacob on our team was like, you know what he should do? He should make like a big splash acquisition. And I was like, you know what? Buy Twitter. Come on, Bob. Disney should buy Twitter and just put it back. Put that thing back where it came from, and then we're good.
Elon would probably make profit off of that for sure.
He probably would.
It's probably true.
Just do it. And then make Milan Husk the new bad guy in the next Disney Pixar animated movie. It'd be great.
There you go. So you do raise an interesting question in your outline here is what does this mean for Star Wars? Because I do think that is a fair question.
Iger bought it.
Yeah, we've seen some maybe questionable decisions, I think, in the last couple of years in regards to Star Wars. Yes,
I don't know. Last I counted, we have 17 movies coming out that are confirmed. So,
oh my god, I wonder if we will see any of this be straightened out a little bit. I mean, because it does seem like for the most part, Lucasfilm and Marvel and all these different and Fox and ESPN, all these different things that Disney owns, all function pretty independently. And you never know how. Well, we don't know a damn thing. We're just freaking nerds on a Star Wars podcast. What the hell do we know about how capitalism works? But like. Maybe this will have a positive effect. I would like to see one of the damn movies that they announce getting made, frankly. Just one of them. I
Something!
still cannot believe they did a teaser trailer with freaking what's her name?
Patty
Wonder Woman,
Jenkins.
with Patty Jenkins, and
Oh,
like when she gets out
yeah.
of the and with on a tarmac with
rollerblading.
planes. Like they went through all that trouble to make that teaser trailer, and that's like there's like no chance of that happening now. Like what the hell, dude?
Man.
Like
They could have filmed another season of Andor with that money they spent on that teaser, right?
it was just a very involved and very personal trailer to like genuinely have nothing coming out of it. That project is 100% in the ground now, right? Like it's totally dead as far as we know.
I don't know. JG just put in the chat. Apparently, there's a report going out now that Chapek was holding Lucasfilm back from film development. So again, everything is. I mean, until it's confirmed. But I mean, there's definitely a possibility once the head honcho switches over. And to be clear, Chapek had, I think, 3 years left on his contract. This is costing them $20 million of buyout. Like, this is a big decision to make this quickly. So there's going to be some ramifications.
I also read in a couple articles too that Bob Iger kind of like personally groomed him to be the CEO for years. Like he was on the board, and everybody thought this was the obvious choice. So like it was a smooth transition when he immediately got the job, but it turned out he just kind of sucked. So
what happens?
I don't know.
Man.
I'm really interested to read this in some kind of novel or some, not a novel, you know what I mean? Some kind of biography. Like
oh, I want the HBO mini, or no, probably Hulu. I want the Hulu limited series on like Battle of the Bobs. Like just
Bob v. Bob.
Like the drama of it. Bob v. Bob, Dawn of Moustis. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there you go. I like it.
So Bob is dead. Long live Bob. All right. Next piece of news we got.
That was good. That was really good.
Thanks, man. I'm pretty proud of it. Next thing we got was actual Star Wars book news.
The Supreme Leader is dead.
Long live the Supreme Leader, Bob. Supreme Leader Bob. God,
that's funny.
Hey, someone who's better than us, make a meme of Chapek on Snoke's body with Kylo Ren being Bob Iger.
With his tongue hanging out. That was the greatest shot, I think, in The Last Jedi.
Yeah. Chapek also, last thing on Chapek, I just remembered, he was the guy that said, like, animation is not for adults. Like, adults don't watch Disney animation. And everyone's like, my guy.
Bro, do you know what, like, company you work for and shit? Because, like, that's not true.
Who buys those tickets, Bob? Anyway. All right. Yeah. Next thing, we got a little bit of book news that was interesting. Because you all know we've been loving the Essential Legends collection. We just got another wave of them that came out. I love that they're making these. We have talked previously about the word essential being used liberally at best. With some of these titles,
wide berth.
We did get 3 new official covers that got announced with Dawn of the Jedi, Yoda Dark Rendezvous, and Hard Contact, their First Republic Commando book, and they're on the screen now. And here's the thing.
Start it like that. Okay, oh my god.
I will say what I've loved about the Essential Legends collection is that they've done a wonderful job of reimagining some of the Legends covers, especially like the Bane trilogy, and things like that may not have been as critically loved going, in the initial run, we should say. These ones, I will say, when they first got announced, didn't get the warmest reception possible. Charles, you didn't have as much Bob controversy chat, so I want to go to you, man. What do you make about these covers that we see on our screen right now? Start.
I like Hard Contact.
Hard
I
Contact
do like that one.
It looks like Ewok Hunt.
Yes, it does look like Ewok Hunt.
It does look like Ewok Hunt.
and that one is very good. For my aesthetic, I'll say, art is subjective.
Yeah,
I do not care for the other two, particularly Dawn of the Jedi. To me, looks like a Judy B. Jones book from when I was a child. Like it's
yes.
It looks a little like kitty, like clip arty. I don't know. I just don't. It's not my bag.
Well, the first one is so good. Like the Dawn of the Jedi cover is pretty rad. If anyone remembers the original.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I don't actually. But...
Yeah, what I am genuinely actively searching and have been for the last 3 minutes on the Utini website. Dawn of the Jedi. I've tried every search
Dawn
possibility.
of the Jedi Into the Void is the full title.
I've done that. I've done I've done that one. I've done novel. I've done book. I genuinely cannot find it on the website.
Are you calling
I have no idea.
For having a bad website?
Yeah, it sucks. Don't ever use our website. It's terrible.
Yeah, that
there
one.
it is. Okay,
Dawn of
yeah,
the Jedi.
that is a
Yeah.
way
Rad
better
cover.
cover.
I
That's
have
a way better cover.
no memory of this existing.
All right, Gandalf.
How do we feel? How we rated this book? I wonder. Do you guys know on the site?
Well, it's the earliest book in the history of Legends chronology.
That's
it's
right.
Like,
it was published late in the cycle,
Yeah.
if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's nothing around it. Like it's very intentionally way back when. And I
It's in
think
the
for
void.
and it's the Jedi, like the JED apostrophe AII or like something, and like the lightsabers have backpacks. Like it's very odd. But I think they did it because it's like, oh, it's the first Legends book. Is like how they're gonna pitch it. You know, it's like the earliest you could go.
I mean,
But yeah, the new one's kind of weird.
I do think the whole Essential Legends collection thing, it was like kind of a joke with us at first about how like, is this really essential?
Yeah.
But like
If
they
you don't
really
read Death
are.
Troopers, you don't understand Legends, Charles.
Oh my god, I like that book actually.
No, I love
but,
that. I love that book. I don't get why they chose it though.
There's a character named Kale, which just makes me laugh. But
That's right, Kale.
yes,
This is a Legends book. I'm gonna
it's
find this on
getting-
the site. So help me
it's
God.
getting to the point where it's just like, are we actually just re-releasing every book? And if we
Maybe?
are, so
Oof.
be it. But
oh
then,
my gosh.
but then just
Found it.
admit that. And I think the real value in these things comes from the audiobooks. If a book didn't have an audiobook before or had an abridged one or something like that. And now we don't have those either, do we, for this wave?
We don't. Yeah, it's a great point. Tom, our buddy over at Del Rey, I believe it was in Discord or on Twitter. I'm not sure where it got posted, but he did say there weren't currently plans to do more audiobooks, at least with this wave, because we got them with the X-Wing, the Rogue Squadron books, rather. We got them with Heir to the Empire, I think. No, not Heir to the
Yeah.
Empire. It was anyway. We'd been getting.
It was the second two.
Darth
It
Maul,
was the
Shadow
second
Hunter.
two. Yeah.
Yeah,
It was the second two of the Heir of the Empire series.
That's right.
Was converted into an audiobook and
yeah.
I think
They're not really doing that now.
I think okay, so I found it on the side. The only way I could find it. This is really weird. I don't know why it was so hard to find. I found it on the Legends timeline. It's kind of the first entry. This book is fair. Is rated as fair, which is the second to last, I think, review category we have on the site.
Not great,
And there's
Bob.
Not very many books in that category, honestly, and we have it as 155 in the Utini reading order, which is very damn near the end. So
It's
think
literally not connected to anything.
Yeah,
it's not.
connected.
It's
the
it's not
opposite
connected
of
to
essential.
anything. It was
Yeah.
published in May of 2013, right before they stopped publishing books, basically.
Yeah.
And like, I think this solidifies to me a little bit that the Essential Legends collection maybe is not actually based on anything regarding the word essential. I think it's generally just based on book sales because
Can it be the
I
optional
think-
Legends collection, the OLC? That'd be cool.
yeah, maybe
They do
maybe
like
so.
both of those.
Because like this book is the first book in the timeline, and that's why people
Yeah.
bought it. Is because like people are like, how do I start reading Star Wars books? We know this well at Utini. And people always
Yeah.
want to start at the very beginning
What's
of the
the
timeline.
first?
So they just go
Yep.
and look. This is the first one
Yep.
chronologically. I bet that's why it's as high on the list. And
Yeah.
I gotta say, I am just getting more and more negative about this whole like Essential Legends collections experience. I really don't like that cover, man.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Well-
no disrespect to the artist. It just doesn't look like
Yeah.
any of the other art we've seen on any of the other types of, any of these other books. And also the other thing I want to kind of call out, I was busy searching, Charles. I don't know if you said this or not. This Yoda image is
We have not discussed it yet.
We
So
have.
so
Yoda
describe
image-
it for the audio listeners.
Yoda image is weak sauce, audio listeners.
It's not Flake Coco.
It's
just
not.
a promo image.
It's not. It's just
Yeah.
a promo image. I think it's Yoda from like it's
So
like
two,
an Attack
right?
of the Clones.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a still image of CGI Yoda from Attack of the Clones that it looks like they ran through like those apps you can like download like
Yep.
the Chinese spyware apps that you can download on your phone that like you can artify an image and you have no
Yeah.
idea what it's actually doing with your
Yeah.
picture. That
This is
you put in
Yoda's TikTok profile picture.
It is. So
All
it's
right.
that with some cool artwork around it. I do genuinely like
yeah.
the artwork. It looks pretty cool, I think. But
Yeah.
like
If I didn't recognize
Anytime-
it immediately.
yeah, anytime an artist or a comic artist or anyone takes the route of let's take an existing image and slightly modify it, it just never does it for me, man. Like it always just feels
Yeah.
like Here's the original book, which is fairly guilty of it as well. Like, this is bad, man. This is really, really bad.
This book, apparently, I have not read this book. I've heard in the last 3 years really good stuff about it. Like, this actually maybe deserves to be ELC. Weirdly enough.
I think it does actually. Dark Rendezvous is a really good book. And Sean Stewart actually has not written much. I don't, if anything else, I don't think. In I'm trying to find this one on the timeline. Here it is. This one is a good. It's good. Is what it's rated as. It is very low in our reading order because it doesn't really fit with anything, but it is a pretty dang good book. So I'm fine with this book being in there. I'm fine with Hard Contact being in there. I am still to this day very upset that the Clone Trooper book series was never continued. That
right.
It sort of ended abruptly and stuff. But that cover is very good. But I do have to say these covers in combination. There's the original cover for this book, which Wes is showing, which is the promo image for the Republic Commando game, which is why they made these books, which is a hell of a game, by the way.
Yeah,
super hard, very, very challenging. I played it on a game night a couple years ago, and I don't think I got past the second level or something. It's so hard. Super hard. But yeah, anyway, what I was saying is the covers seem to be missing the mark a little bit with the last couple of releases, and the decision to not do audiobooks is bullshit. Straight up. I'm going to say it. I'm going to be really harsh. I'm going to be harsh about that because I don't think you can do a project like this with all this promotion of, we're re-releasing the Legends. No, it's not just a money grab. We're genuinely wanting to get these books out here and, they're all going to have exclusive audiobooks and then suddenly change their mind about that. No, get out of here with that, man. That makes this a capitalism decision. And I hate that, dude. I hate that. So the sales must not be very good. A company of the size of Disney and publishing should take a loss to continue this project if they do in fact believe these are essential legends. What does this mean now? Are we not going to get audiobooks of the now incomplete series that we have, like the X-Wing series and stuff? If that's true, if we're not getting audiobooks of the whole X-Wing series, that is horseshit. I will say it. That sucks, dude. I hate that.
I'll tell you what, Corey. I'll tell you what. These were announced when Bob Chapek was in charge. Bob Iger's back, baby!
Back to Bob. Yeah, that kind of that alienates some of the Star Wars audience that, like myself, likes to read the audiobooks.
Yeah, you love those.
If you're trying to get into some new things and you don't have the time or you don't have the, if you don't have the wherewithal to stay awake in bed while you read, then you need the audiobook while you're in traffic for an hour. And it helps. It helps.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it would be one thing to have a public press release announcement, I think, to say that hey, we are very sad to announce we're discontinuing this project that we've promised, that it turned out to be not nearly as profitable as we expected it to be. And the publishing industry has taken a huge loss in the last couple of years and has nearly killed a number of publishers. We're unfortunately not going to be able to do this. That's not how they announced it. It was a reply to a Twitter post, I think. Or somebody asked a question. It was a reply to that. And I hate that, man. I really hate that. And, I'm sorry to get a little harsh about the publishing thing, but genuinely, if this is just pulling the plug suddenly like that, I really hate that, especially as being such a huge proponent of, we're huge proponents of canon and Legends. It's very challenging to convince Legends people to read canon, that they're not being alienated. It's very challenging to convince canon people to read Legends because they feel like that population is very alienated. So it's hard to balance this sort of culture a little bit already. And, to have sort of the rug ripped out from under you, if that isn't what is in fact happening, that kind of sucks. We don't even know. I mean, what the hell do we know? We're just a bunch of nerds doing a Star Wars podcast, as I've said. So
we get it, Corey. Jeez.
We know nothing.
Yeah, we know nothing. So
hopefully the ship gets righted. And regardless, if you're liking the Essential Legends collection, they're going to keep doing the physical books. So
allegedly.
We'll see. Yeah, allegedly.
now.
As long as they do, we will be here. But what I can say,
in reading them,
can't guarantee.
I've enjoyed reading them.
Yeah, me too, actually. There's been a couple that I've actually missed that I've read in the ELC, which I've been pretty stoked about.
Yeah, for sure.
But again, as a quick reminder, the books that we can guarantee are coming out are all the new canon books, including The High Republic Convergence. Last reminder for you, it does come out tomorrow. So at this point, get your orders in and then get ready for the next books coming in 2023. All right. That's all the book stuff. Fellas, let's take just a little bit of time now to talk about a little indie show that, I mean, honestly, not enough people are watching, but enough people are watching, and it's called freaking Andor. Previously, we have chatted about every single episode of this on our sideshow Bounty Hunt, but a lot of us chatted, and we said, you know what? With how crazy life has been outside of Utini, and with honestly how important this show is, we wanted to bring the discussion of the show onto the main living force. So tonight, we're going to go through the last two episodes, episodes 10 and episodes 11, and we're just going to kind of talk about them as one whole. We're going to talk about some of our favorite parts, and then, guys, we got the finale of Andor this coming Wednesday, which is crazy. The finale of season 1 is already upon us. I'm so sad about it, because honestly, this has been my favorite Star Wars project we've gotten thus far. But we'll talk a little bit about that ending. Let's begin, though, by taking y'all back. First of all, complete spoilers. Spoilers, spoilers, come on.
So many spoilers.
Total spoilers. Total spoilers. We're going to recap episode 10 first, talk a little bit about that. We'll do episode 11, talk a bit about that, and then we're going to finale. So, episode 10, One Way Out. This begins. It's time to break out of the prison. Tomorrow is the day, and Cassian and Kino ready the prisoners for the big breakout. And Kino delivers a rousing speech where he says, "No one is getting out." Sorry, Corey. Can I get your best? No one is getting out. Can you deliver that for us?
I don't think I can.
Talk about putting him on the spot.
Just tell me. Oh my God!
I don't even remember the scene. No.
All right. Wes, give it back to me. Wes,
literally weeks ago.
Eric, if you ever do that to me,
you ruin it for me. Fine. He says, Kino gives a rousing speech and says, "No one is getting out." It's like that. Then we go back to Coruscant, where Mon Mothma has a meeting with Davos Skulden, remember from Chandrila, who provides a solution to her money problems, but he only asks one thing in return: an introduction to her daughter for his son. Mon Mothma strongly declines. Back on Narkina 5, Cassian busts a pipe to begin the flow of water on the floor of the prison as the prisoners fake a fight during a new prisoner introduction. This shorts out the floor sensors and the breakout begins. They climb, they fight, and they die as Cassian and Kino make their way to the control room. They cut the power to the facility as Kino gives one of the best freaking monologues in all of Star Wars history and tells everyone that there is one way out. The prisoners finally make it outside to the prison walls and the waiting ocean below, but as they jump, Kino reveals that he can't swim. Back on Coruscant, ISB supervisor Lonnie Jung makes his way to the lower levels of Coruscant to meet Luthen. Lonnie has been an informant this whole time, and he wants out. Luthen gives another one of the best speeches in Star Wars history, doing the same episode, where he tells Lonnie there is no way out. Luthen is burning his life for, quote, a sunrise he'll never see. We end then on Cassian and Melshi running for their lives away from the prison. So, this was 2 weeks ago. A lot of climbing, a lot of action. Easily the most action-filled episode we had so far. I want to ask you fellas to start. This is currently the highest-rated Andor episode on IMDb with a freaking 9.5.
Wow.
Whoa.
Straight up, does it deserve it? I will say yes. This is my favorite episode.
High. Yeah, I would say so, man. I think this episode was fantastic. I think we all knew the Prison Break episode was gonna be really, really good, but they really nailed it with the whole the shot at the end of slowly zooming out, and you can see the splashes of the people swimming in all the different directions. That was
where it looked like
dope,
the Imperial Imperial symbol, and then they're just swimming away from it. Like, God, that the symbolism of that was just amazing.
That was really good.
Yeah, I think Andy Serkis. He really proved himself in this episode. Not that he needed to. I mean, good Lord, he's a phenomenal actor. But here's the shot that Wes is showing now. But I really was hurting when he got left behind, man. I really was hurting when he said he can't swim.
Can we talk about that?
Yeah,
I want to talk about that.
Let's do that first.
Because I have a genuine question. Can people really not swim? Just try it. Like, can you just
Are you a doctor that has never heard of drowning?
No. Yes, of course I've heard of drowning, but you know what I'm saying? Like, this is a recurring.
You'll die.
You
really? Is that true?
Their arms and legs aren't working in sync. So when you're flailing, you're not actually staying buoyant. You're not staying above the water. You have to kind of keep it all smoothed out. But I'm thinking you You can get 4 or 5 people where he can hang on to the back of their legs and the guys can just do breaststroke.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a floating prison. There's a boat or at least a life jacket. Like this was an end of Titanic scenario where like there's room on that door.
I will say so that shot you showed us, Wes, though, we see the prison from above. There's
far.
no land we see. And at the end we see Cassian and Melshi and no one else. I think maybe it's just because I'm a little more I guess I'm giving into the darkness of the show. I think there's absolutely a possibility that Cassian and Melshi are the only 2 that made it. I think that it's a
they asked that question.
Melshi,
you know, that is.
Yeah,
you ever try to swim like?
Yeah,
if you're not a swimmer and you try to swim like half a mile, no, absolutely not.
Well, let's be clear. I'm not shitting on the realism of the idea of him not being able to swim. Like, I'm just like, this is a galaxy far, far away. I mean, they have like the internet and like TV and shit. Like, I mean, don't you think that's
why they can't swim, Corey? They're all inside watching Tube.
He's like seeing people swim. I mean, don't you think you would like you'd want to try? Nope. I mean, I don't know. Like,
I mean, I think he jumped, and I think he tried for a bit, and then I think he went down.
Yeah,
that's my
maybe
assumption.
he's from Tatooine, but it's.
Wow.
Yeah,
everyone's from Tatooine.
He had water on him.
Everyone's from Tatooine.
Can Luke swim? That's the real question.
Guys, Kino Loy is a Skywalker. I think that's what we're missing out on here.
If he decides to be, he is.
Damn, you got me there. But yeah, I will say, Andy Serkis going from, to your point, Charles, of having the first outburst in the barracks where he was like, no one's getting out. They're going to kill us all. We have to go. Then he gets the straight to the camera monologue where he's talking to the prison. Great moment where he's just yelling at everyone to go.
Yeah. That was heavy as shit. Him struggling with the words. That was like one of the most beautiful monologues I think I've ever seen.
Like, did you know what I liked as an audience? Like he was speaking to us a little bit. No. Like, God.
Yeah. You know what I liked about this was that Cassian, even though he's like the main character of the show and he was sort of the instigator for a lot of this, he didn't have to teach Kino Loy what to do or what to say. Yeah. Like Kino Loy was already an incredible leader and he just needed to be pointed in the right direction. And that's what Cassian did. He just gave him a little push. And
then that's his gift, man.
Yeah, exactly. And then all of that
You're
came
so right. Wow.
From Kino. Yeah, it was so nice.
Yeah.
Does Kino play Kino? Does he like go to bars and get those little cards and play Kino? That's my question.
He's a Kino speaker.
Oh!
Hey!
Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that.
I also think I want to give huge props to the direction of this episode, because I realized I was thinking about Andor as a whole, and this was a finale of an arc, right? And like the 3 finales of the arcs was the episode where they banged on all the pipes and we had the huge shootout in the first one. Then we had the Eye, which was visually gorgeous, and then we had this. Like, they're ending their arcs on their best episodes, and I can't remember another show that's done that. Like, you always want to end at the high note, and my God, like the amount of action and climbing, like, wow.
Not only do very few have any of the Star Wars shows that we've seen in live action, have they been able to hit these highs like consistently? I mean, there's been 3 very nice, beautiful peaks like in the quality of these episodes. That's rare for a TV show, like straight up. Like,
absolutely. I mean, absolutely.
Like I watched like Rings of Power recently, and I loved Rings of Power. I was blown away with that show, but like it didn't hit like this. Like where there were like 3 very nicely beautiful arcs. I mean, they get the 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 cliffhanger at the end, and you leave like excited for the next episode, and they get that right and stuff. But like, these 3 arcs have been unbelievably good. Like almost like they almost have like no right being this good. Like that is, I just can't believe how good this prison episode was. And it's the 3rd time I've said that in a season of like, it's nuts. I mean, how is the finale gonna nail it?
I don't know. Well, and it's crazy because like you get these performances. Like obviously Serkis is such a star in this episode. But then, at that moment, I was watching that speech he has with "There's one way out, we have to climb." I'm like, okay, this is the best speech. And then we get this additional scene of Luthen Rail, Stellan Skarsgård, giving almost a 5-minute monologue to Lonnie, who I love that reveal because we've seen him in the meetings, and of course he's got people everywhere.
They've been highlighting him. Like, we asked that question, like, who is this guy that they keep showing and stuff? And
it was that you. I think we thought he was you, Lauren, at one point or somewhere, and like. But then
Dude.
he comes in, and then he's like, "I have a family," and he's like, "I am burning my life down for a sunrise."
I know,
will never
dude. I
see
wish we
again."
had. I wish.
And I'm like, "Wow!"
I wish we had the freaking dialogue, the transcript for that speech, because that was brutal.
That's some
It's
Emmy
like,
shit right there. That is, I
what
want
did
an
it
Emmy
cost?
for this role.
Everything. Like, exactly. It was just brilliant dialogue and writing. This was an unbelievable cool scene. And oh man, the throwbacks to like Empire with this scene and the catwalks and the doors and the lighting, like this was a badass scene, man. I loved it.
That realization of like, oh no, I will not see this rebellion. Like I'm gonna die as an enemy. Like, people like I am not being a hero. Which is so crazy because every hero of the rebellion we've known, Luke, Leia, Mon Mothma, Han, like, you get the glory at the end. That's the whole point. And Luthen's like, no, Lonnie, we are screwed, man. But you know that. Like,
and Lonnie came down there thinking he had a chance to actually be out of this.
I'm putting in my 2 weeks.
I just don't want to do it anymore, okay? Just leave me alone, and I'm going to turn my phone off, and that's going to be it. So, no. Dude, you're in it.
Out of teams.
That's it.
You can't get me.
Back.
I also liked a little bit of the hero narrative that was in there too, right? Because like he didn't just say like you're in too deep, you can't get out. He also said you're a damn hero, and we freaking need heroes in the rebellion. Like you're the only way that people are going to survive. Like that was in there too, and like
that's a great point.
It was good. It wasn't just a brutalist. Like I think we're meant to feel a little bit that Luthen is a little bit of a bad guy, like to some degree.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah,
but
he's
like
ruthless, I guess, in what he needs.
Yeah. But like we also see that he does maybe genuinely care about, he genuinely cares about. He have to care about the cause, right? He genuinely does care about it. And like I love
about the cause.
I know, and I loved the way that he talked about this too, as if it was just a system that he had designed. Like I think he used the phrase, I figured out I've been using the formula since the beginning. He used the word formula to describe it.
Yeah.
Now I'm like that. What a great word choice to describe this, like systematic destruction of the Empire as a formula. That's what it is. That's what it has to be for the rebellion, right? It's a calculation,
they
right?
Have to be
like
organized.
It's we're gonna sacrifice you because of the mathematical requirement, right? Like it's very robotic a little bit, and
which we get in the next episode, which we like literally we go body by body, like it's
for sure.
God,
big fan of that.
This episode was really wild, and since I think it meshes in so well. Let's go to the next one too and talk about them as a whole, because I think they do work so well, even though it is technically the next arc. Episode 11, Daughters of Ferrix, or Daughters of Ferrix. We get this last week. Again, full spoilers. We're already there. But this is how this one goes. As a reminder, we begin with Cassian and Melshi as they attempt to escape from Narkina, but they're captured by native Narkinians. Don't see a lot of aliens in the show, so we get some aliens. But we begin at Ferrix. Marva has died, and B2 is not taking it very well. He's a sad dog, and it makes me feel horrible. However, the Daughters of Ferrix apparently require his assistance. After revealing their hatred for the Empire, however, Cassian and Melshi are released by the Narkinians, and they head back to Niamos, where Cassian left his stash, and the two get ready to move out. Meanwhile, Vel visits her cousin, and Mon Mothma shows her Liata's new cult club, arranged marriage society. I don't know. She hates it. But they discuss their continued rebellious progress on the side as Mon Mothma just like cries about her life. Cyril, meanwhile, checks back in with us, and his old buddy Sergeant Mosk, sir, tells him about Marva's passing. And this may be Cyril's chance to reclaim his name and his honor. Luthen visits Saw Gerrera, who now wants in on his plan with Krieger, but Luthen declines and informs Saw it's got to be a trap, and you just got to lose 30 guys. Deal with it. The two finally understand the depths the other one is going to go to, and although they don't like it, they'll accept it and call it war. As Luthen leaves, though, he's hailed by an Imperial ship, but instead of being taken, my boy pulls an insane aero maneuver, takes out a bunch of TIE fighters with side lasers and missiles, and it's great. And then back on Niamos, however, we end on a downer, where Cassian gets a call over to Ferrix, where he is informed of his mom's death, and he is devastated and looks to the horizon, looking for Marva, who will never be there again. So,
Yeah.
Very different episode. Again, some massively awesome moments.
Can we talk about Luthen's ship maybe being the most badass, amazing,
Oh, wow.
unbelievable? The CGI was flawless. That was
Where's
the
my
coolest
Lego?
shit.
So good.
the
I was
Lego?
That's the coolest shit I think I've ever seen.
Yeah,
Like,
I was
straight
keyed
up.
in. I was keyed in on the CGI to see how they would do it, and it was amazing. They didn't screw
It
it,
was
up.
phenomenal.
Whatsoever.
Like,
Yeah.
that was so creative. We've never seen any ships do that kind of thing. Like, what did he shoot out? Like shards of glass and destroy
Yeah.
Yeah, into the tractor
and
beam.
destroy the satellite, and
Yeah.
then the
That was cool.
effects of like all the little specks and it shattering. That was brilliant. I've never seen anything like that before in a Star Wars
Yeah.
ship, or like you should be more limited than this in this space universe, right? Like we've been.
Yep.
Like they somehow keep coming up with crazy new random ideas that just happen for a second that just blow your socks off. Like,
Yeah.
this is the coolest ship I swear to God I've ever seen. Like this,
And I
look
also,
at
I also
this.
love that, like, this shooting these back into the tractor beam, amazing, because no one ever escapes
my
the tractor beam.
God.
We've been taught that since episode 4, right? That is Star Wars canon. But then
No.
when he does the lasers, my favorite thing is that that's been in the trailer. In Star Wars has always been, we're only going to show the first 3 episodes. But I feel like Tony Gilroy saw that on the dailies and was like, all right, shit, we got to put that in the trailer. That's the coolest thing I've ever seen.
That was the
There's no
coolest
way.
freaking thing I've ever seen. So there was like, I think there were like 3 or 4 attacks, right? There was the laser dish thing getting destroyed. There was the lightsabers coming out of the side, and that
Yes.
fast pivot shit that he did and cut those 2 in half was like,
Yeah.
man, that really did have the potential to be like kind of cringy or bad, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
It was,
Well, and
I
it tried
cannot
to
tell
be-
you how excited I was about this stupid scene. Like, it was just
it's
the coolest shit I've
amazing.
ever seen. It was just legitimately, I think, the coolest
Yeah.
ship thing that I've ever freaking seen in Star Wars. Like,
Well, and he tried to do the whole like
look at that shit.
and he's unfazed. He's like, yeah, it's Tuesday. I just do this. Like he tried to put on. Remember, we talked way back when about that moment where he puts on the little air of, oh, so sorry, I was just leaving. And he tries it for a second, and he's like, listen, I'm trying to save your lives, guys. Like I don't want to kill you because I'm gonna kill you. Like Luthen really gave me the vibe. And it's kind of the opposite of Han Solo, right? Where every time Han gets in a firefight, he's like, hold together. I'll try something crazy. And he escapes. Luthen is like, oh, no, I'm playing chess. I know I'm going to win this. So just give me a second to charge up, and then I will destroy all of you.
I think my favorite thing about that entire scene, though, is actually the Imperial's reaction after he jumps to hyperspace. Because he's just like staring out the window, and it's like probably a good like 7-second shot of just this guy staring, and then he just shakes his head like real slow. That's it. That's his whole reaction. I was like, I thought he would be like screaming, and he just stands there, stares out, and then just gives a little shake.
Yeah.
That's
I
funny.
mean,
See, it's so
That's
subtle.
funny.
what'd you guys think about, let's go just a couple seconds before it, since we're on Luthen. Obviously we get his amazing, like literally I hope Emmy-worthy monologue last week. And then we get this moment of him going to Saw and him literally saying, nope, I'm not going to talk to you about this. I am going to kill 30 men. And you got to be cool with that. Like that, where like to make Saw be like, damn, that takes a lot.
Yeah. And then
Well,
I
and-
remember him saying, like, because Saw was like, how do I know you're not ISB? Like, how do I know you're not working with ISB? He was like, if I was ISB, you'd be dead already.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And also
or
when he
why wouldn't
screws
I
them and he's
send
like,
you out?
yeah, who's my
Yeah.
guy? Oh, it's Two Tubes over there. And
Yeah.
he's like, what? No,
Yeah,
it's not.
it's
It's not me.
I know. He grabs him. That was brilliant. I love that.
But it-
Can we
it
also
shows-
just? Sorry, go ahead, Charles.
I was just gonna say it shows. I think in the couple short scenes that we've seen Saw in, they've done a good job of showing he's not like totally crazy yet. But you
No.
start seeing those seeds of
point.
doubt. Like he was
Yep.
looking around. He was like, "Who in here? Like, do you have? That's one of
Yeah.
my guys, or I think that's my guys." Like that's where
Yep.
some of that craziness starts that we eventually see in
Yeah.
Rogue One.
Did they send you to kill me? Like that's
Yeah.
where that line comes
Yeah.
from.
Somebody warned him too, right? I can't remember. Was it Two Tubes that told him he was in a mood? Is that what he said?
Yeah, Two Tubes told him he's in a
Yeah,
mood.
Yeah. So that's interesting to kind of see that maybe some of the people in Saw Gerrera's camp like do
Yeah.
have trust for everybody and stuff. And I also just want to point out that Forrest Whitaker is like a god tier level actor.
So
in every
I-
single- every single time that he.
I can't believe what he does. It's so freaking good.
It's really impressive, like genuinely. Like, I mean, he killed this craziness. Like the looking around. Can you show that scene that you were just showing there again? Like I just cannot believe like this was just so believable. Saul is just very unhinged in this.
Yeah,
these
he
shots.
really is like this. Wes, this is for you. Saw in this scene is kind of like Sam Darnold. He's just seeing ghosts out there. You know, like he's just like. Very
he's hearing voices, dude. Look at him. Like how is this freaking Forrest Whitaker, man? Like he just nails this. Yeah,
so good.
Like there's the walls are bugged, kind of crazy, right? Like I loved it. This was a cool scene, and I like the dialogue was complex. This wasn't a simple convincing Saul of doing the thing. Like I mean, that was all really cool of him kind of explaining. Like Luthen explaining his thought, like he had a moment of weakness. I feel like a little bit. Luthen did. He didn't have to tell Saul that. Like he didn't have to tell him, but he chose to for some reason. And then Saul is in. Like he believed it. Like And I love that he kept repeating, and Krieger too. That was repeated, I think, 3 times. He's like,
he doesn't like.
You're going to sacrifice 30 men. And every single time, Luthen's like, plus Krieger. Every single time. That was such a cool, weird little dialogue choice. That was really neat.
Yeah.
Like, it helps solidify the idea of like, yes, we're killing and sacrificing 30 men, but they're people with names.
Yes.
So, and that's what Krieger represents in the dialogue. And that was just brilliant of like,
and I think we see that in season 2. I think that's the kind of stuff that Luthen is going to deal with. Like you have killed people. Like what are we dealing with here? So I'm very excited to see where he goes. Wes, give me the camera for a second. Because I want to tell the people something at Disney. Bob Iger, little children chanting is the creepiest shit in the world. And please don't do it again in Star Wars. Yeah, okay. Can we talk about the marriage cult thing? What the hell was this?
Yeah, that's kind of weird, dude.
In the eye of the father to my husband. I was like, whoa, no. And my mom was there with like a glass of wine at 1 PM being like, this is terrible.
And she's really torn up by it. All right. So I have my wife and I talked about this when we watched the episode. I almost had to pause to talk about this because this hit me so hard.
Go for it.
This is like, I think this is brilliant storytelling. Once again, is like Mon Mothma is completely out of control of the things in her life, completely. And they are giving the character of Mon Mothma a real out for abandoning her family. It's because they have chosen to embrace these old ways that have these horrific flaws that are very imperial, that go hand in hand with the Empire. They've chosen to embrace these things. I love that they highlighted that. It was her idea. She found the elder. Like that is such brilliant storytelling. We've been wondering this whole time about like, how are they going to deal with the fact that like, they've made her a bratty teenager and they've made her husband kind of a shithole, but like
that's generous for Perrin.
But that's not abandonment level, storytelling, but this is now suddenly. Yeah. So now when Mon Mothma leaves her family, it's tragedy. And it's tragedy not on Mon Mothma's part, it's tragedy on her family's fault for making the wrong decision. And I love that so much. That's so
like in this image, she looks so tired. She looks kind of worn down, you know?
Yeah, even her hair isn't as high as it was. And I think that's a costuming thing. Like she obviously looks amazing still, but you can tell like she's had a day. She's cried. She has not tried to keep up her appearance as 10,000%. She's just like, I've lost my husband years ago. I think she gets that, but I think she still had hope for Lita. I agree, Corey, until this episode. She's like, I still have my daughter. I can still bring her back. She was surprised when Lita would say rude things to her. She was still a little shocked. And I think now it's like, it's done. And
her daughter is she's going to choose to marry this scumbag's son. All right. That's going to be her choice now. And it's very obvious that's going to be her choice. And I love the dialogue between Vel and Mon Mothma of like, surely you're not considering it. And she's, I don't think she answers it actually. I think she says,
I don't think she does
I think it's responded with silence. It's like a rhetorical question. And like, because she knows she doesn't have to choose, because her daughter is going to choose.
It's over.
Her, right. So it's like, and the emotional toll that is having on Mon is very, very interesting. And I hope that we do get I think we will. I mean, given the quality of the storytelling so far, but I hope we get the full circle of the arc of, I hope we see Mon come out of this despair into this powerful leader that's really badass. Like, I hope we get that.
Absolutely.
I think we probably will.
Hell yeah.
But it's gonna be very interesting to see how that comes about. I think now that we have all this like family drama with Mon, I never would have guessed this is how this would have gone. That was creepy as shit, though. The whole chanting thing around the dinner table was
very Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah,
it was the shot too. It was like between, there was like something in the way, right? Like prison bars almost.
Yep.
Like it was very symbolic.
Yeah,
too.
all the shots in the Mothma household. Mon gets pretty clear cameras, but when you're looking at other people, there's always some kind of obstacle. There's always something that is obscuring the view.
Yeah, that's true.
Which I think is very intense. Now, one question I got for you guys, which I think is kind of one of the bigger questions of this episode, and will definitely affect the finale as we kind of look ahead to this week. Is Marva really gone? I think so, because B2 would know. But there's a lot of speculation that this is a plant.
Really? I've not seen that. That's interesting.
I don't think it is, just because I don't think that's not the kind of show we're in.
I don't think this is that kind of show. I mean, it seems like they spent a lot of energy and time like explaining how sad everybody is, you know, and she's been sick and she's what's the line he says that she's in the wall now or something like that. Like
because
they put their ashes into a brick and then they put it into the wall.
Again, beautiful description of the Ferrex people. Like,
I love that.
But I mean, this was literally like, you know how you see those Reddit posts and things where like the dogs will go on their owners' graves and sleep and wait for them. Like being like, "Can you stay for a night? Like, I need Marva." I was like, I was not okay, guys. I hugged my dog so hard after this because I was like, this is what it feels like. And like,
Star Wars continuing the brilliant ability to make us feel for mechanical objects as if they are animals or people. It's just, I
want to ask, Charles, I see you're about to say something. So say your thing, but I also want to ask you a second one if you're not saying this already. What do you think about Marva dying off screen? Because I feel like we usually see that, but they chose to just show us what happened after as opposed to the actual moment.
I mean, I think very clearly they're planning to bring her back with spider legs, and we're going to see that in the finale.
Well, that took a turn.
Damn you.
No, I mean, I don't know. It's a good question. I mean, sometimes I think they do it intentionally. I mean, for instance, Kino Loy, us not seeing what happened with him, I think they did that very intentionally. He might come back.
Good point.
But with Marvin, no, I think she's gone. I think we're meant to feel a bit like Cassian did, where he didn't get a chance to see her one last time.
Wow!
I mean, I don't know if they put that much thought into it, but that's how I felt. Because you guys know I was stoked for Aunt Petunia every time she was on screen.
Yeah,
and we could see her slowly, getting sicker and sicker, and
we didn't get to say goodbye to her just because Cassian didn't.
Yeah. Maybe that's what it is.
That.
Charles, I hate you, man. Straight up. That is.
Speaking of Aunt Petunia, Charles. Right. Speaking of Aunt Petunia, I talked about you when we watched this episode because right in the middle of the episode, my wife Caitlin goes, "Holy shit!" And I'm like, "What?" And she goes, "That's Aunt Petunia." I had the realization. I was like, Charles has been saying that for weeks, man. Oh, it's funny.
Dang. That's so true though, because I think there was that little emptiness of like, no, we should see the last moment. No, we should see the last moment. And that, I mean, isn't that that's the hardest part of losing someone in real life, right? Is like you want to try to make it there, and that's the whole thing. Like, make sure you get there and say your last things. And we don't talk about him a lot when we talk about these shows hilariously, but Diego Luna is the backbone of this show. And I think the way he plays that phone call of realizing that he will never get to say goodbye and that he missed it and that the Empire robbed him of that moment. Like, all that was silent. All that was just
really was.
Looks.
Like, we're meant to understand not that her death is sad. We're meant to understand the effects that her death has on like the community and on Cassian and on the other characters. And like, that's what we're meant to understand. So like Ferrex, I mean, so she, in a lot of ways, she's like a martyr, I think. Is how we're supposed to understand that, right? Is like, because, she's been very rebellious here in the very end. And I think that she's been a little preachy and they haven't maybe highlighted that well enough. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see how Ferrex changes.
And the daughters of Ferrex, like, is that like Daughters of the American Revolution? like what are we talking about? Like, they say they need because Brasso was like, B, the daughters need you for something, and like,
Yeah, what is
Grave
that all about?
importance, he
Yeah.
said.
yeah,
That's
I'm
very
interested.
interesting. Very interesting. Yeah.
Oh,
very
okay,
interesting.
real quick, because I want to ask
Sorry,
you guys a huge question, but Dale just put up a quote.
I was reading that. I think he's dropping in
Yeah.
some of the dialogue from the keynote
Lucen's
speech
speech.
earlier.
That's-
That was very good.
Yeah, go
read
for it,
some
man.
of it. Okay.
Read that first one. It's incredible.
The first one, it says, calm, kindness, kinship, love. I've given up all chance at inner peace. I've made my mind a sunless place. I share my dreams with Ghost.
Oh my Lord.
This is Star Wars.
I just can't believe this dialogue is
I share
real.
my dreams with ghosts. I could get it tattooed on my body. I share my dreams with ghosts.
And there's the formula thing. He says, I wake up every day to an equation I wrote 15 years ago for which there is only one conclusion. I'm damned for what I do.
Oh my
That's what
Lord.
Corey says about you, Teeny, every morning in
Every
mirror.
single day. Oh, man. I love that.
Like,
Yeah.
how do you, you're sitting at a computer and there's a blank Word document and you're like, oh, my imagination. I'm damned for what I do. Like, you just come up with that out of your brain.
I don't know. It's like some writers just have the ability to do that. Like,
God.
similar to that writer of that CNBC article I was reading earlier that referred to the second banana. So, some
Yeah.
people just
Have the gift.
some people just have the gift. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway, yeah, I think I'm very interested to see how this Daughters of Ferrex thing is going to come about. We should probably talk about Ferrex a little more too, because it certainly seems like
We're going to Ferrex for the finale.
Seems like everything's coming back to Ferrex, man.
Yep. Cyril knows about it now. Like Dedra knows about it now. Cassian's coming back, absolutely, right?
I love that. I love that.
Bix
I
is
love
there
that.
as a husk, like.
Yeah, I love that Cyril like robbed his mother on the way out. Too,
Hell
right?
yeah.
Like that was
Hell yeah.
hell yeah. That was
I gotta
cut
say,
there.
he is a little shit stained, but I enjoy
and
Cyril
they-
so much, man. Like I really do get a kick out of him.
Yeah, I mean he's like, I don't know, he's turned out to be a very complex character that we have still not figured out after all this time. Like
I don't think we will too.
Yeah, I
Season
think
2.
he has that psychopath vibe thing going.
Yeah, Norman Bates. Mommy issues and some psychopathy. Yay!
Yeah, very good. I think it's all coming back to Ferrex. I don't have any clue. Is there anything else we want to talk about this episode before we speculate a little bit?
Yes.
Hit
When Melshi and Cassian decide to break for it to steal these alien ships. And
the aliens.
They think that they're Scott. We're fast. We can do it. There's no problem. And then, got you with these weird goop
Spider-Man
nets.
got them.
I know, dude. These gross,
They're
slimy
really nasty,
nets.
though.
Dude, I hate this.
The one,
It's like
the
you know
one
those- you know
was
those-
near someone's mouth, and it made me
I know.
actually nauseous.
do you know those like those gummy like hands that you can get out, like a vending machine that you can like
Yes.
flick and
Oh,
it
they
sticks to the
stick.
wall and you can pull it back. That's what these
God.
nets are made of. It's
But
like
all
little
over
gummy
your
hands.
body.
Can we
God,
just all right? We've joked on this. We've joked a little bit before about like the show has a stark absence of aliens a little bit.
Oh, these aliens.
Well,
dude.
they finally put some aliens in the show, and I gotta say, you know what? I'm kind of glad we've had a stark absence of aliens up to this point because these guys.
Use them sparingly.
It looks like. Have you seen those? Have you seen that Halloween costume of like the old Hooters women that have like, their boobs under their shirt? It looks like. This
I don't
guy.
live in Texas, Wes. I have not.
I have
Dude.
no idea what you're talking about.
I'll show
Wes.
you all, but
But
look,
now
it
I
looks
can't
like
not see it.
his boobs are hanging out under his shirt.
Just a belly. Wes.
Disgusting.
Belly.
Dude, these look like the goblins from like The Hobbit. Is like what they look like. These are the
Yes.
grossest,
real
weirdest,
nasty.
goofiest
And the one dude
aliens.
has like a knife for a hand too, doesn't
Yeah,
he?
he's got like a
his-
freaking pirate hand or something.
But
This
also-
was
But also, they were super chill. Was
They
like we're
were.
Empire? Like,
Yeah.
oh shit. Okay, where do you want
dude.
to go?
That took a turn that I was not expecting. Like
Me neither. I thought they
that
were
was
screwed.
just that was weird, man.
I can't remember his name, but I like that he
This
ended like,
guy.
there he is. That guy's out, like literally has chased me through haunted houses 100% in my childhood. Like
You know what
that
he
is
looks
the
like?
butcher. That's the zombie butcher.
It is.
Dude, this guy looks like a prisoner on Davy Jones's ship in the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. Like he has been mixed with a crab and a knife. He's now a walking dead.
Is that a knife or is it a spatula? You be the judge.
He's the Ashley Slasher from SpongeBob. That's what he is.
These guys are so ugly and stupid.
I liked
they did a great
I can't
job.
remember his name, but he ended like every sentence with like, "Hey, buddy." Like he would just be like, "These guys thought they're gonna take our ship. Hey, buddy." Like, I love that.
They had a really good time. They really had a good time. I was again. I agree with you, Corey. I'm actually completely fine with not having a bunch of aliens in the show, just because I think that the storytelling with the actors have been so good. Just plain and simple, the actors have been so good. I don't need a lot of latex. But if you're gonna bring in some aliens for a second, these guys were hella fun. These guys are great.
Why did they help them? That was one thing that I didn't
hate the
fully
Empire.
They didn't have any love for the Empire. Yeah,
they thought they were Imperials, and then he's like, "No, man, no, we escaped from the prison." They're like, "Oh, sorry, man."
I didn't get that the first. Yeah, I didn't get that the first watch through either. It didn't really occur to me like they were just saying, "No, we're escaped from the Empire. The Empire's the one that runs that prison." And they were like, "Oh, okay." And then, but they just like let them loose. I thought,
Did you ride anywhere?
My bad.
I was gonna say I will say this this little scene with these aliens is really the first moment in this entire show that took me out for a few seconds because it was a little, it seemed like there was maybe editing like mistakes or something. Like you're right, Wes, like on the first watch, like the dialogue didn't really connect, and I don't know, maybe that was intentional, like we were supposed to be very as confused as they were a little bit, but like
I think it's probably was the decomposing Cabbage Patch doll of an alien there on the left. I think that's probably what it is.
Decomposing.
Charles, your commentary is like aliens in Andor. It's not used a lot, but when it does, it really just hits me in a great way. All right, so they were great.
I'm glad you brought that up, Wes.
But let's go finale. So for our audio listeners, I'm assuming again everyone we have jobs, we have things we have to do. Maybe you haven't watched the finale yet. But it may be out by now. But as of now, we have a couple days. We're going to go into the Thanksgiving holiday. 2 days. I definitely agree. I think we're going to Ferrex. I think Cassian is going to get there just, again, try to go for the funeral or try to go for something. Maybe he's angry. But it does really feel like somehow, as spread out as this show has been, which it really has. I mean, we've had Coruscant. We've all these planets. Cassian's had a story. We had Aldani. It seems like the mastery of this show has been bringing all the main players to Ferrex for a final confrontation that will then spur us into season 2. Like
I want to get everybody's like 3 like most dramatic. All your bets are on these 3 plot points.
Ooh.
And let's see who gets close. Maybe we can make it interesting somehow.
I think Cassian shoots Cyril. I don't think he doesn't kill him, but he fires on him, and I think it hits him with a bolt.
I think Cyril might attack Dedra to get to what he wants.
I like that. That's dramatic. I think Luthen is dead.
Oh my god! Okay,
wow. Already.
I think they kill him this season, and
because they can't afford the actor for next season.
Yeah, exactly.
He's
That's
very
it.
Cassian kills Dr. Gorsk after he sees what happened to Bix. I think he just shoots the guy in the head.
Maybe I can see that. That's not bad. What about you, Wes? What do you got? I think aliens are gonna flip some hamburgers.
I think Cyril has a mental breakdown when he sees Cassian like in person, that he's there and that their ISB is not doing anything about it. Like the ISB wants to take him alive, but they don't take him like right as they see him. They're like, we'll just wait till they do. They're like, he's freaking right there. Go after him. And he just like starts running and then like gets shot in the back because they don't want to ruin the plan.
Ooh. Yeah. Okay. Something like that. I like that. He cracks.
B2 survives and is fine.
I hope so.
Real controversial opinion there, Eric.
I will bring Bob Chapek back and replace Bob Iger if that doesn't happen. Just keep rotating the Bobs. Whoever's going to keep B2 safe. That's all I care about.
Cyril's mom turns him in for stealing her money.
Oh!
Yeah.
Oh,
we meet Uncle Harlow.
Yes.
That could be sick. That could be sick.
And it's somebody we actually know. Like it's somebody in the rebellion.
What if Quad Puff's first name is Harlow?
Harlow Quad Puff?
Harlow quad pod.
What if Uncle Harlow is that actually the real name of that boss guy that Mon Mothma met, like, or whatever, the Chandrilan.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, right.
They have different
Davo
names or whatever,
Skeldon.
but I think
will
I think
remind you
it would be a little early, but I think we could maybe see Mon Mothma like go into hiding or something like that.
Yep.
Like she
I love
fully
that. I
enters
like
the
that.
rebellion phase in the finale. I could maybe see that. So like they would set up the next season really nicely. I think of like Mon Mothma is in the rebellion now. Luthen is gone. He's not controlling all the pieces anymore. Cassian is now fully in the rebellion somehow. I think that's going to happen.
Cassian's going to leave with Vel. He's going to escape with Vel.
Yeah. Well, Cinta is still on Ferrix. We remember.
Yeah. She's in the working in the bar.
Chess piece. I also will say, as a little behind the scenes thing, they've actually been doing a decent amount of online promo with the actors, like asking them Twitter questions and stuff throughout. Like if you guys have followed the official Star Wars Twitter account and things like that, they've been asking a lot of questions, which is good. The actress of Cinta, there's our Sergeant Mosk. He's not coming back. That's all we get to him, I'm pretty sure. But the actress that plays Cinta, they asked her, "What's your favorite episode?" And she says, "You haven't seen it yet. It's the finale of season 1."
Oh my god!
So I think that there is again, I think everyone is involved. All the main characters are involved in the episode. But I do agree. If I was to put it like, those are a lot of my dramatic things. All my chips are in on Cassian is rebellion.
Yeah, I think so.
Confirmed by the end of the episode.
That's without a doubt. And I wouldn't be surprised if everybody else is sacrificed along the way. Like in a way. I mean, based on what we know and based on what what's his name said at Celebration too, right? That the first season is all this time leading
Tony
up
Gilroy,
to
right?
joining, Tony Gilroy, all this time leading up to Cassian joining the rebellion, and then the next season he's in, and it's all the time before the Rogue One. That would fit a little bit. So
I think Luthen lives, and I think Cassian gives Luthen Nemec's manifesto. Because we saw he got it back.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, we did see him get it back. That was cool. Man, and for a hot minute there, I really thought that maybe we just abandoned that. Like, we're not going to get the manifesto back? Dude, no, man. Tony Gilroy is too professional for that shit. I just can't believe we... Listen, Mandalorian 100% would have abandoned that shit. We never would have saw it again. In Book of Boba Fett, we would have not only saw it again, we would have pretended it didn't exist.
No, they would have dropped that as fast as they dropped Gina Carano, man. They would have been like, nope, never existed.
Never happened. Nope. Maybe we'll come back to it with another Filoni project in like 2 decades or some shit. But no, I'm very surprised they came back all the way around to that. It was in the same place. He went and got his damn box back.
Ooh, hold on. I got one.
Because you said that, Corey, I'm sorry. Did Cassian get it on with this alien here?
No, I think he snuck in. But also maybe.
Also, is that
why did they show this?
Is that Jyn Erso's cellmate at the beginning of Rogue One?
Similar snore.
I mean, yo, you got a lot of tentacles. That's a lot of sensations.
It's 100% the same alien. There's without a doubt.
Yeah. It's the same species.
Okay.
God. That's
sorry, Eric. I didn't mean to derail your comment.
No. And from a certain point of view, Rogue One that we get in the next 40 years, they're absolutely going to put in that sex scene of Cassian stripping that alien.
Oh my God.
Stripping. I have a new thought. This is, God, I'm confident about this, but also it's very specific. The last shot of the season, I think, is Luthen introducing Cassian to Mon Mothma. I think we're finally going to bring those two leader storylines together. And then season 2, everyone is for rebellion. Because I think you're right, Corey. Mon Mothma is now going to, quote unquote, abandon or leave her family and become the rebellion leader. I think Cassian is going to do his Ferric stuff and he's going to go off. And I think next season, we're going to have this full team then doing missions throughout the years. So I think that is how we end the season.
Do we know within the timeline when Mon Mothma when Mon Mothma when she leaves the Senate and is actually full rebellion? Do we know that?
It's around this time because there's that massacre that she mentions happening.
The Bothans?
No.
Yeah. No,
Many
it's
Bothans died
begin
to
with
bring
a
us
G.
this information. That was not a good line in Return of the Jedi. I'm so shocked that like we got here for this. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if we're ever gonna get that story of the Bothans dying. It's probably already a story.
Maybe.
What am I saying? In Legends, it's 100% a story. I don't know if it is
Oh,
in
yeah.
canon yet. I don't think it is in canon.
I don't think so, not yet, at least.
Anyway.
But I think it's all possible, and I think that. Well,
All right, so I have Luthen
Yes.
dead.
Yep.
I have Mothma back to the rebellion, or like as leaving her life behind, essentially. What was the other one I said? Oh, I said everyone's gonna sacrifice himself for Cassian. Those are my three, I think, that I'm going for.
That's three good ones. I said Cassian and Mon Mothma are gonna be introduced to by Luthen at the end. I think Cassian shoots Cyril, and I think B2 is fine. Those are all my big ones.
I just think Cyril gets shot because he goes into a nervous breakdown.
Right.
Okay,
By the
breakdown
Empire, you said, I
Cyril is
think.
good.
Like, by
Yes.
by friendly fire.
And then I also think his mother turns him in.
Okay.
All right, those are good. Charles, what about you?
Charles, what do you
I
think?
think Cyril attacks Dedra, so they're at odds. I think
Okay.
the episode ends with Vel helping Cassian escape, despite the last time they saw each other. And I think that Harlow Quadpaw makes an appearance.
You'd love
Oh,
nothing
man.
more. He is your glup shitto, isn't he? Quadpaw.
Yeah,
That's your
he
They're
really
guy now.
watching right now and they're doing rewrites as we speak. They're like, God, we got to get this out in 2 days.
Why didn't we think-
You messed up. But the great part about this is that next week, I will already say, next week's Living Force is going to be all about the finale of Andor. I mean, this has been, again, some of the best stuff we've ever gotten in the Star Wars universe.
I mean,
We are
it's
so
risky to
excited
say
about
this
it.
before
Let's
the
go for it.
finale, but a flawless experience from beginning to end. Like, what the
Okay,
hell?
yeah.
I mean,
Why
genuinely,
am
I don't know
downplaying
that.
it? This is our show. It's my favorite Star Wars thing.
100%, 100%. Do you have any real criticism of the show? Because frankly,
No.
I do not think I have any single real piece of criticism of the whole damn show. I just
Nope.
cannot freaking believe that.
Nothing that
It's okay
holds
if you-
water.
It's okay
Yeah,
if you
nothing
do.
that sticks.
I do not either.
I did say the aliens thing. Like maybe the aliens looked a
That
little
doesn't count,
goofy
though,
to
right?
me, but I don't know if that's real criticism. Right? If I
Yeah.
watched it again, I'm probably fine. But
No, this is my
this is a Rogue
as
One
far
shot
as
right here, too,
craft
baby.
go-
By the
yeah,
way,
this is
Yeah.
just as far as a TV show, a Star Wars project, and like every single qualifier I can put on it, it is my favorite thing, and I think it is also the best
Ever.
thing
Like-
because your favorite and the best sometimes don't correspond, which is fine. Like sometimes we have different reasons for loving things. I think in this particular case, my favorite show and the best show are coinciding. I think this is the best television show I've watched this year, and it's also my favorite. And as far as Star Wars goes, I put it there. I was at dinner the other night with some really great friends of mine who I love, and then we were talking about Andor, and I was like, I think it's the best Star Wars thing. And they're like, well, I mean, outside the original trilogy. And I'm like, no.
yeah, I
Like,
said that to somebody too. I said that to somebody
No,
too
it's
this week. I'm
really
like,
not
they're like,
good.
yeah. Somebody was like, yeah. I mean, it can't be better than Empire, and I was like, I think it might be better than Empire. And they were like, what the hell? Like, it was
Yeah.
hilarious. I've said that a couple times, actually.
We also
Like,
have a whole other season coming. Like,
Yeah.
I know.
it's going to be 20 times as long as Empire.
pretty
You know what I mean?
impressive,
Like,
and I know that we've like chilled pretty hard on like some of the live action shows and stuff, but like I think we haven't really been too quiet about our criticisms of especially like Book of Boba Fett,
Yeah.
which I think we all left with a fairly neutral experience. And
Yeah.
but this show is genuinely pretty freaking flawless. I just can't believe it. Like
I
I've heard
love-
people say, I've seen people say it doesn't have lightsabers in it, so it's not Star Wars, and I'm like, that's objectively stupid. So shut the hell up.
That's-
But
It's a
no,
bigger world
yeah.
out there. The Jedi are just the smallest part, right?
oh, yeah, sorry. Luke Skywalker is going to appear on Ferrix as a child and
Yeah.
accidentally force push Dedra away into a vat of molten lava.
There you go.
There you go. Are
Ahsoka
you
makes
happy
an
now?
appearance. Ugh.
Are you happy? Star Wars theory, I'll call you out.
Please, God, do not put a freaking Ahsoka cameo in this show. I mean, maybe fine. All right, let me back that up. That sounded really harsh. I like Ahsoka fine. She's a great
I
character.
trust
but
that. I trust the creators. I trust that. I
Yeah.
mean, Tony Gilroy is putting. I mean, because
No.
also like Saw Gerrera is a cameo character, but God, he fits perfectly.
Yeah, Ahsoka
know?
doesn't need this show. She has
There you go.
plenty going for her. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God,
Big
this
fan.
is just so good. It's so great, and again, next week it'll be done. And it's weird because I was telling Charlie about this. You know, I had a moment in my life where my weeks were filled with NFL football, House of the Dragon, Rings of Power, and Andor every week. And now House of the Dragon's done, Rings of Power is done, now Andor is going to be done. And I think just as nerds watching television, it just behooves us to realize, like, this is just so awesome. And I'm so glad that stuff like this is being given the budget and the time and dedication that it deserves. Like, they don't have to worry about getting 5 seasons because they know they got 2. They don't have to worry about bringing enough aliens or lightsabers because they know the story from the beginning. And, like, it sounds simple, but God, if there's ever been a proof of concept you need, this is it.
I know.
These last few episodes alone, like, you can bring in major actors like Circus for new people. You can bring in no names like the rest of the characters we're in love with. You know?
Yeah, this
It's
seems
rad.
like a good template for stuff to springboard, but it's changed every single TV episode. It's gotten better, not exponentially better, but it's gotten better, and they're figuring it out. They're figuring out that TV is like, that's where you bring in a broader audience than having to go to the movies, buy popcorn, actually carve out time. You can just plop down on your couch and watch it at any time. So that's
I would really like to, like, I don't know if it's even possible to do this. I don't think it is. I would really like to, this is the businessy nerd of me, I would like to see how they calculate the value of these types of things, because these projects cost as much as movies do. And like, you can't like directly measure the revenue, right? Because it's
and the viewership of this is lower than Mandalorian, but also like, there's no way they didn't know that. Because like, when you're going in Andor, the Rogue One show, like,
has everything been less than Mandalorian though? I mean, I'm certain it has.
You could probably indirectly
Mandalorian is number 1.
You could probably indirectly relate this to subscription buys, like especially when Mandalorian came out. But like renewals every year, you see that too. I mean, you're not going to get everybody that is going to be solely Disney Plus, but you'll have the bundle. But still, there's got to be some kind of correlation there with subscriptions and renewals, based on
and I will
when
say again, Funkos. Give me the Lego of the ship with the spinny lightsabers.
Those are the first thing to break off, and you're
space.
on that Funko, or those little red lasers that just break.
It's just so cool. I'm so in love with it. But fellas, I'm so glad. I'm just so glad this is so good. We chat about it. Next week, we're gonna bring you all our finale thoughts, and we're also gonna take a look back at the season as a whole. You know, we're gonna talk about some of our favorite moments. We're gonna look at season 2, which I believe actually started shooting today or yesterday. Season 2 is like actively in progress.
Oh, I thought
currently.
they had already done it.
Nope.
Okay.
So honestly, we'll probably be without Andor until fall 2023 at earliest. I'm probably gonna guess early 2024.
Ooh.
No, that's crazy to even consider.
Yeah.
So regardless of when it comes out, though, we'll be here. And hey, we got Mando season 3 coming next spring, which I'm just gonna say, it better be really good. Because I'm sorry, this has really raised the bar for what I want in my Star Wars, y'all.
You said Mandalorian's coming in the spring.
Yeah.
You said, yeah,
Yes,
that's
sir.
right.
And Bad Batch season 2. So
Yeah, man,
a lot of stuff coming.
Mandalorian's got a high bar now, man. Like,
Yeah.
I just after getting this just kind of pure storytelling experience, going back to a lot of cameos, a little bit of Force Baby Yoda, I feel like Luke Skywalker being in and out, like that's going to be a little hard to me, I think. I mean, all that was novelty at the time, but I think like looking back a little bit now, I'm like, I've really enjoyed this refreshing taste of new and different stuff with Kenobi and Andor and like, you know, I'm sure I'm going to love it when it gets here. I'll be super excited about it. But like, I had this weird kind of dread a little bit about going back to it. You know what I mean?
It's
like,
weird, right?
It's
Now
like,
we do have Bo-Katan
it's almost
sitting on the throne of Mandalore. So like, if it's Mandalore lore and they go into like that,
yeah, that could be fun.
That could be really awesome, and I hope they really lean into that stuff.
If
That'd be cool.
But they really need to leave behind the moneymaker, right? They need to leave behind Baby Yoda. We've been saying that forever, and like, I don't know. It's like when you eat like a whole lot of candy. I think one of you guys made this analogy recently. If you eat a whole lot of candy, like it makes you sick. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's delicious. It's candy, but like, now you don't like even thinking about candy because you got so sick, right? That's kind of how I feel about Mandalorian and the
such an
Filoni-verse.
adult.
It's all kind of, no, it sucks, man. That's how I feel like the Filoni-verse.
It's called a hangover, Corey.
Well,
I'm never drinking again, Charles.
Cheers. So we'll be here for all of your we'll be here for the Baby Yoding. We're here for the Andor ring. But at the end of the day, we're getting this amazing thing. And gosh, how cool that these amazing creators said yes to all this and that they're all as passionate. I mean, you look at anything Diego Luna says, you look at anything Fiona Shaw, Tony Gilroy, they talk about this show with the amount of care that we feel about it. So everyone listening, everyone watching, let us know your thoughts about the finale. What do you think is going to happen? If it's already happened, let us know how much you loved it. Let us know if, oh my God, it's all Jedi. They completely ruined it. Who knows? We'll find out next week. But for now,
God, that would suck.
my friends, well, that'll do it for this week's episode of The Living Force. If you support us on Patreon, thank you so much. We appreciate your support of this amazing channel and everything that we do here at Utini. A special thank you goes out to Brian Dooley, Patrick Ortiz, Earl Q, Robert Thomas, and Carl Sander on our Jedi High Council, and Elizabeth Cloutier, Ashley Ingalls, and Sally and Chris Eilerson on our Alliance High Command. You can find us on Twitter at Living Force Pod, at Eric Eilerson, at Corey M. Helton, at C. Hankel, and at Boss West. A special thank you to Matt Davenport, our amazing editor, Ryan, our graphic designer extraordinaire, and Wes, our producer and community manager, and Tony Gilroy, who made this whole thing. A special thank you to Corey Charles and Wes for prodding me tonight. A special thanks to all of you for watching and listening. And as always, may the Force be with you.